We would wake up after 5 a.m. because that's when the sun starts coming up. And I don't like wandering in the dark. Uh, for the record, I do have a filter on OBS that makes everything about 20 to 25% brighter for all of you than it is for me. So when I talk about not being able to see in the dark, I mean I legit cannot see in the dark. But that's intentional, because I think dark should actually be kind of scary. And Artyom, actually one other thing that I did is, while I was in college, actually, I didn't get a full-on minor in psychology, but a lot of my electives were psychology. I was, I think, 2 courses off of minoring in psychology? I can't remember. It's been a very long time. Which kind of supports the whole, I find it interesting to watch how people think type deal. Like me, I can have, alright, that zombie is just noping all the way out. That zombie is just like, I know what's about to happen in this town and I'm outie. I'm gone. Gotcha, okay. No problem. Well, welcome to stream. I just had to ask because our current character in Project Zomboid is also named Ellen. She is not an elementalist unless you count wood and steel as elements. Okay. And I do need to be real careful about bumping zombies with this car. The hood is just about blown on that car. I think it's at like 2 or 4%. So like the very next thing that bumps the hood of that car is going to trash it. Thank you for the follow. Ooh. Is it supposed to be Red Soren? Welcome to the stream. Am I looking into that too much? If I don't have it right, please let me know and I will try and correct in the future. Well, I'll do better in the future. It might take me a few attempts to get, but I want to go for it. The Weeboo truck is right about here on the map. It had many, many zombies around it to the point that even I was like, nope, there is actually too many zombies for me to deal with this. So we did walk away from the Weeboo truck. We are literally on our way back, though, to reclaim said Weeboo truck, because it is way, way nicer than about to have a blown hood station wagon that is also not truck. Oh, if we are considering steel and wood as elements, then yes. Dr. Ellen Ennis is an elementalist. And for the record, Dr. Ellen Ennis is a 4-times doctor. She has 2 doctors in just like general medicine, as well as she has 2 doctorates in surgery. Now, most people getting a doctorate in medical is something like 8 years of college. Then you know you do your residency, and then there's the whole thing that goes to it. Ellen, on the other hand, she's like, I don't got time for that. So she walked into a pharmacy with a crowbar. She proceeded to beat in some zombie skulls, and then she took the doctorates. So, much more efficient. The cost of those degrees far, far less. I mean, this is 1993, so it wasn't that bad at the time, but still, way, way cheaper than it goes. We bonk. You've seen nothing. This is actually like, I'm looking at this going, hey, the road's actually getting pretty clear of corpses. We get lots of zombie bodies. We get lots of zombie bodies. You know, that lady in the blue dress, I don't think I've seen that blue dress that I've noticed before. That's actually a nice dress. Now granted, we got a wedding dress back at home, but you know, I can't properly armor ourselves up in a wedding dress, unfortunately. The veil, just not exactly the best for protecting one's face. Yeah, no, we had we had Riverside's main road that goes by like Enigma Bookstore, the post office, all that. We had it to the point that you could barely make out bits of gray in between the piles of corpses. They were so dense. I found it. There's a church down here, just a little ways in Rosewood. So we actually only recently found it. But there's a church. It's like the purple building you see right down there in the minimap. And there was just a lady wearing a wedding dress there. Gotcha, Sonic Silver. Sonic Silver saying, in the Chinese elemental cycle, it goes wood parentheses air, fire, earth, metal, water, wood parentheses air. Yeah, so as you're seeing that we've got 55,000 zombie kills. To this point, the only injuries we've taken is we have tripped 3 times. So those aren't zombie injuries, those are we ate dirt with our face and scratched ourselves injuries. I accidentally dug without a shovel 1 time and scratched my poor little hand. Again, no risk of zombie infection from that. And we did actually earlier today take a laceration to the shin from a crawler, because the hitbox in crawlers is janky as all get out, and it's a very easy thing to get yourself hurt by them. I strongly recommend hitting them with whatever weapon you have that has the longest range, because I totally whiffed it twice and couldn't get out of range before it grabbed my ankle. That goes to show just how much of a janky hitbox they are, because I am at 55,000 zombie kills. This ain't my first rodeo. We mayhaps have killed a few zombies. Oh yeah, nightsticks are a pretty solid choice. I'll use nightsticks against crawlers a lot. At the time I was using a machete and I was standing directly on top of the zombie, slammed down once, missed, tried to turn ever so slightly and slammed down a second time. But like, the hitbox on it is so dicey. Like, I also find it easier to hit them from waiting till they approach you and then hitting them, kind of thing. I am trying to, yep, so 1 zombie wound is all we've had. Now, we have had 2 close calls with zombies where my tailoring saved the day, when I was using a giant box truck that you couldn't see behind. There's certain things that you, the player, should be able to see around, or you, the player, cannot see around, that your character should be able to see around, but it's just not how the game works. And so, like, the big box trucks, if there's a zombie standing behind it, you have no way of seeing it unless it's far enough away. Now, if you do have the aim outline up, and you approach, like, say this is my box truck. So if I were to approach this truck and go, well, I'm a little bit worried about, so I'll just go like this. And if there's a zombie behind it, the moment the zombie came in range, you get the green outline through the truck. But I don't do that every time. Kiarix Wow says, what is your nimble? We are at nimble 5. We started with 0, and we have worked our way up to nimble 5. My first zombie hit was actually a laceration. So 25% chance of zombie infection. Oh yeah, no, that was the worst thing, Weebonk, is I had killed all the other zombies for the most part. Like, it was down to just killing the crawler, and just completely whiffed the machete hits twice in a row. Now granted, I had, like, there's plenty of other PoE streamers that hop in this channel from time to time. We chit-chat and talk about what we're doing and all that kind of stuff. And even then, Mr. Lamprey UK hopped in and he was like, that was BS, you were standing on top of that crawler. Do I play with any mods? Not any mods that meaningfully change the game. Right now, I do have minimal display bars loaded, but I have it hidden so that I'm not actually getting the benefit from it at the moment. I'm known for using short blades more than most people will. Like, I actually believe for killing ridiculously large groups, short blades are meta for that. And just, the whole thing with that is short blades take nearly no stamina, so you notice we were at almost moderate exertion, and I'm just deleting zombies one after the other. And we probably won't go exerted unless I push too many zombies from messing up my swings. At my level, which is not maxed out, I do kill zombies pretty much every 2 hits. Like occasionally 3 hits. But as far as mods that change... Alright, not doing this. Get out of here. As far as mods that affect gameplay, the only ones I have is I have Pillow's random spawn mod, because to me that's like just a mod pretty much everyone should run, because like when you first start the game, and I'm saying like entirely too much, when you first start the game and you don't know the map, start in the same town, learn the map, that kind of thing. But once you get to the point that you feel like you're starting to get into a pattern where you load in this map, you go to this building, you grab that item, or like you grab whatever tools or whatever, and you start having that pattern you fall into, to me that can get tiresome. So that's when I'm like, alright, Pillow's random spawn mod, you don't get to choose where you spawn. It's like, I'm going to chuck you in whatever building, in whatever city, wherever on the map I feel like, and you just have to live with that and figure it out from there. Yeah. I don't have too much problem with the range thing. The things I find dangerous with the hunting knives is if a zombie is on the ground and you go to stab them, the stab animation for a ground attack for the hunting knife is pretty slow. I've had a lot of people talk about the execution animation. They're like, oh, it terrifies me. You don't have to worry about it. Like, you should be alone. Okay. That's new. But I've never been injured doing that execution animation. Because if, for example, I have more than one zombie aggroed, you won't do the execution animation, barring some very specific circumstances, such as, like, the zombie is around the corner where you cannot see it in, or you're totally unaware that they've aggroed. And it's like, sure, well, I mean, you're still going to die because you're about to have a zombie walk up behind you. I'm pretty sure you regens... Yes. So, once you get to, like, really high nimble, you can... Yeah, you saw, like, there. Like, normally I would have done an execution animation for that one, but because I had to aggro another one, instead I pushed. But yeah, that stab on the ground animation, that can get you in trouble if you try and force stab. It's much longer than most of the other ground animations. But yeah, so at low nimble, 100% without question, you'll regain more stamina from your short blades than you can use. When you get to like point like really high nimble and you're just literally holding down the mouse and landing every stab, you can outrun the stamina use. But like you got to be going very aggressive. Otherwise you will regen, like for all practice purposes, most of the time you will be regenning stamina while using a short blade, with the exception of the meat cleaver. As a forewarning, I actually find the meat cleaver to be pretty crap as a weapon. Because, like, it doesn't do as much damage as a hunting knife. It has more crit, but it also uses more stamina. So it's like a short blade that doesn't have the benefits of a short blade. Which is where you go, okay, well, how about instead of using that then, you use, you know, like an axe. Because axes are all about the crit. Okay, and there's as you probably heard the person say, Integer Smirk say, is the wee woo truck. We call it the wee woo truck because it has wee woos, which is just what we call anything with sirens our wee woos. Whether it's an ambulance, a police truck, a fire truck, if it has sirens, it has wee woos. So we left this as our getaway vehicle during the helicopter, and that didn't quite work out as we had hoped. And now's the part where I mess up my entire plan and accidentally get two vehicles stuck here. I would say that's never happened before, but don't look back at my VODs. I may or may not have actually done that exact same thing before. Yeah, for making it animated though, it's going to take, like, most of the animations that you see are like automatic ones. Like I did do the one where it's like the hype has the colors flashing on the background type thing, the one version. I did have a version, oh, you mean I have a version of Weebly like that? It's just not given a slot because I don't have any more animated emote slots and I like the animated emotes we have kind of thing. So I'm stuck picking and choosing between them. That's just why we need to hit partner, because then I can get more slots. Because until then, I'm stuck with whatever slots I got. I physically cannot get more as an affiliate. That said, we are getting pretty close. I was thinking we were probably going to make it by the end of this month. I think with how well the Elden Ring stream went, that may have set us back a little. But we'll see. And I understand. Elden Ring is like the opposite to my playstyle in here. And while I do love myself some Soulsborne game and all that, I get it's not a good fit for the channel. Yeah, just a horde over there in the trees. It's fine. We just keep going. That is the magic of the short blades. You just... until you're sleepy, the fight keeps going and you just keep dropping zombies. When we get to like 10 in our short blades, as well as some decent strength and all that, I will be one-shotting zombies quite regularly. It won't be always, but quite regularly. Okay. Oh, we got second wave. This happens a lot. And the reason this happens is you have slow shufflers and fast shufflers. And so what'll end up happening is the fast shufflers and slow shufflers will end up getting a gap between them when you're doing this type of clearing. So then after you wipe out the fast shufflers, like a second or two later, it's like, oh, there's another horde behind there. Just not as fast. Okay, and let me catch up with chat. Very useful mixture spears, yep. Let's see. What do you think of the new foraging system? I like it a lot more than the old one. So I absolutely used and to a certain extent abused the old one. Because you just go right click forage and you'd have your berries. And the old one, you could even sit there with the berries, and you could, as long as you don't have weak stomach, you could be very deliberate and isolate which berry was the poison berry. And if we're being objective, right-click and fast-forward to achieve anything is not a feel-good way of playing the game. Like, I am excited that they talked about that they're going to be changing fishing, because right now fishing is the old foraging, where you just right-click and you say fish, and then you fast forward your game until you've decided you've had enough. versus like having any type of active gameplay to it. Now I will say, until this update, all this information about like what gives you penalties and benefits, without that information it could be very frustrating. But having all that information just right here now is fantastic. And the reason we have all these pluses, I believe, is because we're unemployed. We just have like general all-around benefits. I don't know. It could be some of our perks or something. I don't actually know what's giving us those things, because that update came out while I was on this character, so I haven't been able to experiment with it. Hey, zombie. Don't mind me. I actually didn't see you, so you could totally actually been the zombie to kill me. So, you know. Shouldn't have slept on the job. You could have been the one to save your kind, but it's just too late. Where? I'm hearing a zombie. Boy. There you are. Yeah, so where we're pushing him, I know I've aggroed another zombie. Because you won't push a zombie while holding a short blade, typically. Unless you've got another zombie aggroed at you. And I'm going to leave the spare car right here in the middle of town. Oh, the person was earlier like, you know, holy, like zombie bodies. We're still not as dense as they get, but this is a bit more than we had a minute ago. Like when I zoom out. Like, I mean, I guess these ones are more organized because I have them mostly off the road because I'm doing my best to do that here. Because driving over zombie corpses doesn't directly damage your car, like, just driving over it doesn't ruin your tires or your suspension or your brakes or anything. But it can get your car to catch air, roll on two wheels, that kind of stuff. And that loss of control can certainly lead to you, like, slamming into stuff and, you know, that'll damage your car. I keep working on this one by the motel. How is our food supply on us? It's fine. Yeah, this motel doesn't look like there's a single room that's intact, so don't worry about staying here for a night. Missed the context to end you, sorry. Do we have a base? Yes, we do. My main base is, there's a city called Ekron north of here. There's a gas station with a lake nearby it on the far north end of that. And my base sits between the gas station's pumps and that lake. That way my generator can charge both my freezers as well as the pumps itself. Alright, Oko, so you sleep well. Thank you for tuning in. And on that note, thank you for everyone who's been tuning in, who's been lurking, chatting, following, subscribing, doing the bits, the hosts, the donos, the raids, and all that good stuff. It all helps and I really do appreciate it. I do hope you are enjoying the stream. Thank you for the follow. Kelamir, welcome to the stream. Another thing you can do to help yourself with surviving, that actually made me panic for a second because I didn't think I got the execute off, so when I stopped moving, I was like, wait. Where did our hunting knife go? Oh, did I just break the hunting? Okay. I was confused. I thought we stuck the knife in its head and it got stuck there. And then when the knife wasn't on the body, I was like, wait a second. It just so happened we broke the knife as we stuck in its head, so right. Oh, yes, yes. When you lose control of your car and you slam into stuff, it damages both your car and often you. 100%. I have seen lots of runs ended by someone driving real fast, hitting a pile of zombie corpses, and just putting their car in orbit. And just having it end up in the worst possible way imaginable. That is one of those things, if you want to experiment with, when you go and get zombie infected, you go, alright, well, what is the fastest sports car I have handy? Let's go pile up some zombie corpses and just hit it going like 80, 90 miles an hour and see what happens. The answer, for the record, is death. But it'll be interesting to watch. But you notice because I'm using this hunting knife, like how many zombies have we killed and not once have we sat down, we haven't rested. We're just going from horde to horde, wiping them out. And while we do have high fitness, nowhere near high enough that we could just sit there and fight forever without break. That's just the magic of the hunting knives. Well, I mean short blades in general, but the hunting knife's kind of the go-to short blade. Corpse art. Yeah. Oh yeah. There's a few buildings in this game that I really don't get why this happens. That they just randomly have chairs sitting outside facing the wrong direction. The best I can guess is the devs when they're making a map. Just like, make a mistake on a building. And it just doesn't end up getting cleaned up. Or I shouldn't say devs, whoever works on their maps. How are we going to deal with the bodies? So, the bodies decay in 9 days, and that's nature's problem. I do not deal with the bodies. Because there's, I mean, we're at almost 56,000 bodies we've created. There isn't a way I can handle that many bodies. Just, period. It's just not a feasible thing. Like, honestly, even Insane Pop, just dealing with the bodies is a completely impractical thing. You can do it if you're really committed, but you gotta be really committed. And I would much rather spend my time creating new bodies. Yeah, they've talked about, at some point adding... I would like to get my spear first. Thank you. Give me that. Alright, now I can kill you. Yeah, they've, So the next major update, 42, they are planning on adding animals, but it's probably going to be like animal husbandry kind of animals, so like cows, pigs, chickens, that kind of thing. But they have talked about making animals that we can hunt kind of stuff. That we know, like, deer are among them. But, you know, they've talked, not the devs, but there's been talk that there might be, like, wolves and other stuff. And I'm like, I don't want that. Like, I feel like dealing with a wolf would be entirely different. Like, zombies are slow. It's kind of one of their things that zombies are slow. Unless you're running sprinters, at which point, you know, whatever. Don't know about horses. Maybe. But, Well, I was hoping it could actually push back in that straight before the day's over, but yeah. But yeah, so it is one of those things that's like when they talk about wolves, I'm like, but I don't think I want to tangle with a wolf or a bear, like with a crowbar or a hunting knife or something like that. I think even if you quote unquote win, you're still going to be horribly thrashed and still lose. Like there isn't tangling a bear with a crowbar and objectively winning. So that, and to be fair, with a lot of stuff, I've actually got a lot of trust in these devs because they've done an absolutely outstanding job with this game, start to finish. And they will continue to tweak and adjust and balance and tweak and adjust and balance until they get it to where they like it. It may not be what, you know, there'll be people that could disagree with their choices, fair enough. But within itself, it'll be good. So give them the benefit of the doubt and all that. But like, I worry about NPCs being added to the world and how that's going to change the game. We have other people. Like, but I like the lone survivor feeling where, you know, you're just surviving because, I mean, don't want to die kind of thing. But, you know, things are rough. Let's see. They're also adding the most dangerous animal, NPCs. Yeah, so yeah, there's going to be other human beings so far as like in the game. And Onion says, finally a use for ranged weapons. I mean, I use ranged weapons from time to time. Like this run, we've only done about maybe 1,000 kills with ranged weapons, but yeah. Animals are superior than undeads. Sva says, make Predators a toggle-on game. Yeah, that's. I'm sure they're going to. I'm sure both the when you make your world creation, I'm sure both NPCs as well as animals that like hunt and all that. I can't imagine those not being something you can toggle on and off. All right, we're down to our second thing of water. And cutting across the road so we don't put a bunch of bodies in the road, and back at it. Let's see. I mean, if you're really Walking Dead, you know that the people were always far more terrifying than the walkers. I agree. Sonic saying, I came to the misinformed conclusion that the game is broken and janky. Truth is, I didn't know enough about how the game works. Yes. And don't get me wrong, there is a little jank out there. Like, the crawlers are janky. Very specifically. Oh, we need to back off. We're at nauseous. So the problem is after nauseous comes sick, after sick comes feverish, and when you get feverish, you die very, very quickly. So we definitely don't want to do that. We're not in any real danger yet, but this is the point that's like, all right, it's time to start considering danger. So the first thing we can do is we have removed our spare car, so this is no longer right. And instead, oh hey, they fixed the bug. there was a bug that when you write on your map, it unpauses your game. Thank you for the follow, Jaguar God. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, it's good that we didn't go for this when things were dicey. Oh, and that's perfect timing, because I was like, oh, you know, we probably need to back off. We're getting ready to be drowsy. So let's do that real fast. That worked out perfectly. I do have plenty of food on the character still, so what I'm probably going to do is, you know, go into here. There's some bathrooms down here. We might just try and get ourselves into the bathrooms to restock our water supply a little bit. And as you see, I do have a generator left there. That's just in case we run out of gas or get super close to running out of gas down here. It's a backup. Oh, right, we're drowsy. It's like, why are we not one-shotting any of them? Right. When you get drowsy or exerted or nauseous or overheated, like all of those things, dehydrated, all of those things will damage your quote-unquote accuracy. But ultimately, in Project Zomboid, just when it says accuracy, just pretend it says damage. Like, that's what it really means, is you're going to do less damage to zombies. And most of those penalties are not minor. Like, I remember I was one-shotting most of these before with the crowbar. Not most, but a bunch of them. Versus we just will not get a single one-shot here. Because, like, I know exertion is like 20 to 30% damage reduction for moderate exertion. I don't know what drowsy is, but it's significant. Let's see. I did see a few zombies phase through a wall once, so it's not perfect, but hey. When is anything perfect? Yeah, like I do know that, if you have, at least last I heard, if you have a car pulled up directly next to the side of a chain link fence, and the zombie crawls under your car toward the chain link fence, that sometimes they can, like, kind of clip or phase through the wall trying to crawl under. Like, I do know that was a thing. I don't know if it still is a thing. But that's just another reason why I generally recommend people don't try any, like, silly gimmicks to make quote-unquote, like, indestructible bases. 99% of the things will telling you how to do it is outdated information that'll get you killed. Like, you'll see all the things that say, oh, you just use a television, or you just use a microwave, and the zombies can't break it. That's almost all universally wrong. But, you know, once upon a time may have been right. But generally speaking, if something does make it so your base is, like, quote-unquote impervious, just know if that is a thing, it won't be a thing long. The devs are pretty good about being like, yup, and it's gone. Or, like, people found some way to, kind of exploit the way... Oh, that's still turned on. Exploit the way inventory worked. Get some, like, ridiculous bonus to how much inventory they could have. And very quickly the devs are like, and no. Well, that's discouraging. This place got a whole lot more dangerous with that back door knocked out. They gotta be careful around here. That said, I'm hoping I won't have to stay in this building much longer. That I'll be able to stay in, like, one of the houses on... Like, kind of the place I'm aiming to get right now is there's these 6 or so nice houses over here that are, like, wrought iron fences around them. I'm kind of aiming to try and get to those and set up shop there for a minute. Okay. Yeah, it's the reason why this is so much more dangerous than it was before is originally that door was closed, so you only had to worry about this side. That's not good. And you notice when I go out those doors, I run. That's just in case there's a zombie like right here. Um, did I? I didn't sleep. We'll just go back in there and pretend I didn't do any of those things, and now I'm gonna go to sleep. But but yeah, so if you run into a zombie, like actually run at a zombie, you will shove the zombie, like kind of elbow them out of the way. It doesn't hurt them, it won't knock them over typically or anything like that. Yeah, we're just taking a quick look outside. But you just kind of elbow them out of the way. Just know, you only do that for like one zombie, after which point your character loses their balance. If you bump into a second or a third zombie at that point, you will trip and fall. And you can probably imagine what happens if you trip and fall in the direction of a bunch of zombies. The zombies just look and go, oh, this meal has been laid before me. Excellent. And you don't get a chance to save yourself. But the point being is, when you're dealing with those situations where you clearly know that your path out straight is clear because you can see through the door,